Alrighty, y'all. There's been some fantastic music playing. Big fan of both the soundtracks that I'm hearing in the background, but we did get some donations in as expected. There were 3 different $15 Spicy Train donations that popped in, and I would like to read them out in particular. We had $15 from Happy Bear with the message, "Woo! $15 for a spicy Haven run. Let's get that SSX Tricky incentive." Another 15 from the runner Scala Kitty with the message, "Here's to Cora moving to someplace safe and welcoming. Money goes to Hades Extreme Measures because that game is great and has one of the best bi-protagonists ever." Big if true. Big if true. We love Hades. It's going to be a very good incentive. And then I tossed my $15 into the bucket there, closing out SSX Tricky, and the rest of it's going towards Fez 0%. And because I see it in chat, and I'd like to highlight it especially because there's so many good vibes going on here, we have a very special someone that popped in particular message there, and, you know, you can read it, but so I could also read it out loud. "To Keegan, my love, I am constantly so proud of what you bring to this world. I truly don't know many people that could. Although I know you had the help of a wonderful team. Organizing such a great event for a lovely cause. Love, your future wife." So coming out of Haven, my heart is already like, okay, it's all cute vibes and stuff. And then I get to read that in chat while my mic is muted, and I'm just like putting down my water like, you love to see it. Thank you so much for that message overall, and that's really adorable. I love it. It's just a good time in this chat. Thank you all so much for having me. Nothing makes me happier than being a part of these events. Great causes, great people, great messages, great games. Everything's great. In these moments, a lot of the harder things kind of just fade away because it's not as important as what we're coming together for, so it really means a lot to be invited to these things. I'm so happy I get to share these moments with all of you. Genuinely. Ooh, important detail. Actually, since those donations were in for SSX Tricky and Hades, we have met both of those. I knew we were meeting SSX Tricky. I didn't do a good math, apparently. Not surprising right now. We also met the Hades Extreme Measures 4 incentive. Boom. Done. Love it. So start putting those donations towards both Fez incentives, please, as that is the next upcoming game. So I'd really, really like to see those both met. But there's also our first bid war, I suppose, will be coming up soon thereafter, and that's for Spyro Reignited, specifically Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon. We can pick our Spyro color. Original, blue, yellow, red, pink, purple, and black. That's a lot of options, so pick wisely. Pick very wisely. Anyways, we're going to continue our setup. Please enjoy the good vibes. We'll be back. with the biggest of stretches. My cat is letting me know that we are ready. The next run is here. This is going to be Shadow of the Colossus NTA Boss Rush Random with RUBIEHART, the Thempress themselves. Please take it away.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Zenadier. Well, hi everyone, how's it going? As Zen said, my name's Ruby. I am a actor, streamer, speedrunner, and this is my main game that I started speedrunning with, that I still love to speedrun, and that I took a break and came back to. So if you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus, I'll get into some of the lore while we do the fights. But for NTA Boss Rush Random, as you can see, I have a bunch of statues around me. So in this game, you fight all of these different colossi that are scattered across the landscape. For this category, we skip basically all the travel time playing in Boss Rush Random. So what I'm going to be doing is kneeling in front of each of these statues, and because I'm a big D&D nerd, I have a big D20, and that's what's going to help me determine 1 to 16 which of the colossi I'm going to fight next. So if it lands on 1 to 16 on the D20, then I'm just going to fight that number, or which number is closest to it. And if it lands 17 to 20, then Zen, I'm actually going to give you a really important job here. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. Let's go.
Okay, so if it lands 16 to 20, I'm going to let you just pick a number between 1 to 16. And whatever number is closest to that, or if I haven't fought that boss, then I'm just going to do it. So you have a lot of power here. Do you think you can handle that?
I am going to do my absolute best for both you, this run, and for Corathon. Let's make it happen.
Yes, let's make it happen. And we do have a donation incentive going. So for every oh gosh, how many dollars is it for a horse pet? Do we know?
So the incentive was $10 per horse pet, and we were looking to raise $100. And as I refresh, but realistically, I don't need to. I know we met that $100 already. We get to pet the good girl 10 times.
Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna give her 1 to start out with then, and I'm gonna give the others just as we go through the marathon. So, first horse pet for the good girl for good luck, and I'm gonna roll the die to see who is first. Okay, we are starting with number 6. The time is gonna start as soon as I click into this fight, so I will count it down here, but let me get over to the statue. Okay, cool. Sip of water. We are starting the run in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm going to be flying through these explanations as quickly as I can. There's a lot of physics abuses, AI manipulation, and very specific inputs in this speedrun. So this boss, Argus, is one of the Minotaurs. What I'm going to do here, usually for this boss, you are expected to go to kind of the back of his arena, hide, and get him to find you and spot you, and then you climb his beard. But what I'm gonna do instead is use the physics to run up his arm and launch myself at his head using that momentum. Then from here, he has 2 sigils. One is on his head, so I'm just about to take that out. And we've got a second one on his back. While we get to this back sigil here and I just do damage, just to get into a bit of what this game is, the idea is that you, Wander, the main character, have come to this place known as the Forbidden Lands, and you are trying to complete this ritual to save a dead girl who, there's a god here that if you kill all the colossi and release this deity's power, he apparently can bring this girl, Mono, back to life. A lot of the storytelling is done implicitly, so if you haven't had the chance to play it, this game is out for PS2, PS3, and PS4, so really can't recommend it enough. Okay, number 2. Let's see, number 2 is going to be the next boss here, and there are 16 of these fights. Like I said, I'm going to be flying through them like crazy. Zen, if you have any questions about like the game or the strats I'm using as I go, or I don't explain something well, please feel free to cut me off and ask a question. Like,
okay, my first question already. What is it like to climb a beard? Or I suppose in this situation, to ignore the beard? Why is that the strategy? How did that get found that you can just ignore that entirely? Do you know?
Yeah, so I know that a lot of the fights, just you're expected to use like the architecture around you, but when people figured out that there are a lot of like ledges that are built onto Colossi that were just meant to look pretty, but actually are grabbable. So like this back butt platform that I just grabbed onto, you're technically not really supposed to be able to grab onto that either. It's just because of the fact that it dips so low. So there are actually a few speedrun strats I'll mention for other Colossi where we just kind of use those extra ridges in order to grab on in places that the designers never expected and use the momentum to launch us forward. So like the beard is something that you're meant to use as a casual player, and you're supposed to get him to kind of kneel down, and that's how you mount the Colossus. Otherwise, like his legs are fully stone. I didn't explain anything about that Colossus. Hey, I killed it. That's the explanation.
Happy to help.
That's Quadratus. And feel free to look up other videos of me explaining that fight, because I don't think we're gonna get to it. But a lot of the fights deal with taking the movement animations of the Colossi, memorizing them, and then trying to very specifically replicate that timing so that you can press forward more quickly and launch yourself in weird directions. Does that make sense? At all? I feel like part of that must have been disjointed because I was fighting.
No, that made sense to me personally, and as someone who has not speedran a game properly or fully at this point, you explained that wonderfully, so appreciated. And I just want to like help out here, and you mentioned I might be able to take over some of the D20 there. I'm going to keep track of all the numbers so I don't just randomly pick something you've already done. So we had 2 and 6. What did we get here?
Oh, this is number 13. This is Phalanx.
Number 13.
Yeah.
Good number.
Yeah, right? So this is actually one of the most beloved Colossi, just because it's the only one in the game that is a true pacifist. No matter what you do, Phalanx will never actually attack you. Some of the Colossi will attack you, like if you attack them, or some of them are immediately aggroed. This one just wants to exist in its desert in peace. But what you do in order to take down the Colossus is hitting the sacks on its stomach. She's going to lower her wings in just a second, and one thing you may notice is I started slowing down and she's going really slow with me. That's because this Colossus will move at basically the same speed as Aggro, so it's meant to make the fight feel really exciting because you're almost matched.
I'll consider it.
Yeah, right? And I think, again, I absolutely love this game. Fumito Ueda does a really good job in his games of making things feel very epic, making the tension feel high, and that's just one of the many ways that he does that. From here, what I'm going to be doing, a lot of these Colossi depend on one cycle, so trying to kill the Colossus and the sigils without them resetting the animation. So like this Colossus, if you do 2 full stabs on the sigils, eventually she's going to close these flaps and dip down under the sand, and that adds like another 2 minutes because you have to fully remount the Colossus, wait for her to come out of the sand, and get back to the final sigils. So what I'm doing here is, with that sliver of damage I did to each kind of belly air sac, I can do 1.9 stabs to each of these back sigils, and that still registers as the full amount of damage without activating barrel rolls or any of her other animations. So just like that in less than 2 minutes. Phalanx is down. All right, I'm gonna roll the next Colossus, and then if we have announcements or donations, then this is a perfect time for those.
That. Let me know what number you get.
Number 4 is going to be the next one.
Number 4. All right, recorded. Cool. In the meantime, for those of you just joining us and helping us push that total, by the way, we are $5 away from $2,800. Whoever wants to be the person to push us over, you can claim the glory. That's your fair warning there. This is Corathon. Corathon is a mutual aid fundraiser that is raising money for our friend Cora, a friend of the community who is looking to move to a place that will accept her for who she is. Due to the anti-trans legislation in the state of Texas, Colossus, which everyone could boo that in chat, please. Cora needs help with moving expenses. Let's go! So that she can safely move to a state with LGBTQ plus friendly laws and communities. We are here putting on this marathon to support and provide for a trans friend in need, and we are so grateful for any donations that you can provide to help. So please type !donate in chat to see how you can help out there, and please give me all of the trans pride you can in chat. We'd love to see it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's an amazing cause. Please donate. Also, we are up to 7 pets distributed out of the 10. Okay, this one is wild. So this horse Colossus, basically what you were expected to do is use a whole series of bunkers that are in the center of the arena. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, what I'm gonna try, nope, okay. I'm trying to use a really advanced strat here. You can basically, by riding on aggro and launching yourself off, using the momentum of the horse to kind of launch yourself, you can use an additional one of those bridges to get on the back leg of this Colossus super early. I'm trying to use a really advanced strat here. There we go, to just launch myself directly upwards. So sometimes doing a held side jump for multiple different colossi. So you'll see 2 other instances of me doing something similar to that in the run, and I'll explain it when we get there. But with the physics, if you do side launches from certain colossi at certain points, it actually causes that Wander to fly in really outrageous directions. So for this one, he flew straight upwards, and I was able to grab directly onto the back rather than having to use the butt ladder or anything else. But normally this fight would take about 3.5 minutes if you know exactly what you're doing intended strats-wise. Instead, I'm on the head, and I'm about to do the final stab. And that's Phaedra.
Did you say butt ladder?
Yes, so look at the very back of the Colossus. Do you see? There's actually a little butt ladder. With one on the side,
okay,
one on the back,
yep,
and one on the...
Yep.
Yeah.
I got you. All right.
Yeah, so the way that you're meant to take out this Colossus is in the center of the arena, they're like bunkers, and you're meant to go into them. So she will lean over one and scooch her butt all the way down to go, where is the boy? Where is the man that I saw? And the butt ladder will lower so far that you can climb onto it. So that's actually the intended strat. But with this, we completely skipped the butt ladder. You don't even need it.
May I ask what number Phaedra was?
Number 4, and we are headed to number 7 next.
Ooh,
Yep.
2, 4, 6, 7, and 13 recorded. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. This is one of the harder colossi in the game. So this is Hydrus, my Ely boy. So this one has really specific timing. I'm going to try and break it down. So what I'm going to do is once the timer in the upper right hand corner hits 1 second, I start swimming towards the back pillar you see in the distance, and at the 8-second mark I stop. That's because I'm trying to get in a very specific position, and with this Colossus you're supposed to usually let her go all the way underneath you and grab onto the tail, but I'm going to try and do a series of very specific jump stabs here to see if I can get directly on the head instead. Yep. All right, let's see. Cool. Okay. Now from here, these nodes that you see on the back of the Colossus will do electric damage to me, but instead, if I start from a little further back from that spike and just jump stab the Colossus, I can do that damage without ever having to worry about taking out that extra node. And just like that, Hydra's down. That's really good. Oh man, all right. This is a spicy start to a run. These Colossi have all been going really well. I think I've only had 1 reset so far, and that was doing the advanced Phaedra. Okay, I need to not get in my own head here. All right, next Colossus is number 1. Okay.
Copy that.
Heck yes. And if there are any other donations or announcements or anything when I finish a Colossus, please feel free to let me know, and I'll just pass it straight over to you.
Fantastic. I am here, ready right now, because we did get a $30 donation, which pushed us over $2,800.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that.
That is $2,825 currently raised to help Cora escape Texas. Thank you all so much. Let's keep pushing that further the rest of today and tomorrow's games. So much time. Thank you all.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you so much. Okay, we are headed to the first Colossus, Valis. So this one is really fun. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing here is an exploitation of a cutscene. So there are some cutscenes in this game that you can move during, and some that you can't. This one, I'm going to hit Valis's back ankle twice. And kind of land on the side of his leg. And when he starts this cutscene of kind of leaning downwards, I can actually move in here. So instead of climbing all the way up his back, I'm just immediately going to grab onto his beard and face, do 3 stabs, and he's going to be dead. One thing you might notice is in this run, if I do a jump stab, it's usually, oh my god, 28 seconds? Yes! Oh, that was spicy. That was beautiful. Oh, look at me. I know how to speedrun this game. I took a hiatus from running this game for a bit, and I just came back. So getting times like that makes me happy. But the reason that I'm doing those jump stabs only for the end is they're technically the most powerful stabs in the game, but they also take the most time because there's an animation of Wander like slowly pulling out the sword afterwards. So typically we only use that particular strat for like the final hit of a Colossus, because it, instead of like doing a slow motion stab like most final hits will do, if you do a jump stab for the final hit, it'll take you directly into the death cutscene. And the next one I'm fighting is number 14. This one is my favorite fight in the game. I love this Colossus, even though it is also a very hard speedrun fight. So this is Zenobia, aka my good guard dog boy. Oh god, come on, skip cutscene. So what I'm gonna do here is first switch to cinematic mode, which basically means that I'm switching the game from playing in 30 or 60 FPS to 30 FPS. The reason for that is there is a particular glitch that I'm gonna try and use. On this final pillar, usually you have to kind of get all of these pillars to knock over by getting Zenobia to knock into them. What I'm going to do instead on this 30 FPS is try and just spam jump as hard and fast as I possibly can. Yeah, there it is. To do that trick, which we call a super jump. So by glitching into the pillar and doing a very rapid series of jump inputs, you can get Wander to kind of fly upwards like that. And now I'm just trying to get Zenobia to knock over this pillar, get her aggroed. This next jump, we're gonna see if I can do it successfully, but I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on actually being able to do it. So, oh, I got it. Okay, so that jump that I did in the cutscene is called the Wacky Jump. So it was founded by a speedrunner in the community called Wacky Wolf AO. And it essentially allows you to use the momentum of the collapsing pillar. Oh, no, okay, cool. It allows you to use the momentum of the collapsing pillar to jump at the right time towards a piece of stone on the wall and get to this final platform. That way you're there much more quickly. Otherwise, if you see this kind of ladder on the right here, I would have to go all the way over to that and climb that before shooting Zenobia in the way that I did. From here, I'm just gonna get in a plant. So plants are certain positions on the Colossi. I haven't really addressed it much, but there are certain positions you can grab onto with each of the... I'm not doing a very good job right now. Okay, there we go. So there are certain positions you can get grab onto with the Colossi where no matter how much the Colossus moves, or for the most part, they won't be able to shake you off. So a lot of the difficulty of this game is the Colossi are so huge that it's really hard to just keep your grip. But by landing in one of these plants like I am now, Zenobia can't shake me and I'm able to get in a lot more stabs a lot more quickly. So that's Zenobia. All right, next fight, number 11. Oh my god, number 11. Okay, so the next one is another one of my favorites, and it's the other one of the small boys, as I call them. So there are only 2 Colossi in this game that are really, really tiny, and the next one is the other one of those, Celosia. So this Colossus, I call my little lion boy, and often compare to a cat. And he's just a heckin'...
Big fan already.
Right? So have you played this game casually, or have you seen it before?
The only experience I personally have with Shadow of the Colossus is your GDQ run and the current one that is happening now. Oh, excuse me. The current one happening now, as well as a GDQ audition video, which was like the first, like, what, 10 minutes maybe?
Oh, yeah. And that was...
I'm sure you know the one.
Yeah, because I recorded it, and I was asked to record it for GDQ host auditions, and then I auditioned with myself. It was real funny and real weird.
Raw energy. Such power, though.
Such power. Talking to people about that afterwards was hilarious. Okay, so this particular fight, I love this one because Celosia is just a heckin' sweet boy who's afraid of fire. Normally what you're expected to do with this fight is basically swing the torch that is lit aflame in front of Celosia, and he'll kind of back up slowly and go, wait, heck, and try and paw at the fire, and it's very adorable. But what we do there is essentially a glitch that if we drop the torch, it immediately tells Celosia, oh, you're not a threat anymore. But if you pick it back up, then Celosia sees you as a threat again, and just the way that the AI works. So if you drop the torch, Celosia will start running at you, so getting to the cliffside much faster. And when you pick it back up and you know that he's close, it activates that cutscene if he's within a certain distance. So that allowed me to really quickly get him to knock off the edge, and just like that, Celosia's down. God, these have been flying.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the energy, the hype, and the self-celebration that's been happening in this run so far. I just really need to say that.
It's been really great, and I really appreciate all the hype in chat. Y'all are so sweet. This next fight, by the way, Zen, is number 5 that I'm activating right now.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is the other flying Colossus, Avion, that has the most satisfying and most terrifying trick in the game, in my opinion. So Avion, most of the Colossi in this game, if you know exact positioning and exact timing, you can replicate the same way to do the fights pretty much every time. Of course, it takes a high level of skill, but there's not a ton of RNG, with a few exceptions. One of the pieces, or one of the kind of exceptions in this game, is when Avion sweeps down towards me, eventually she's going to start to kind of tilt her wings. And what I'm looking for is if she's going to move this right wing up or down. And that is going to then kind of tell me what strat I need to use next. No! Oh. Okay. Oh, that was terrifying. Sorry, like the worst thing that can possibly happen in this particular fight is falling off. So I was really worried about getting a wet Avion there for a minute. So I got a down wing, and what I'm going to try and do is let go at the right time so that I can grab onto different fur on the Colossus. Ideally, you would want to get over the spine, but because I had kind of weird timing getting my grip there, it didn't give me quite the animation I was looking for, but like, c'est la vie, this stuff happens. I didn't fall off and get what we call a wet Avion in the community, so like, no! I spoke too soon!
Can I get a sploosh in chat, please?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's okay. We make up for it. We got this. Believe in yourself.
Thank you. This is fine. And I know exactly what went wrong, and I'm real sad about it. So, one of the unfortunate things, you know those plants that I mentioned earlier that, like, I said usually cause you to never fall off a Colossus? So, this is the exception to that rule. If you go upside down and you are in a plant, then it causes you to let go. And for this Colossus, fall directly downwards. Which is real sad, real unfortunate, gotta say. But, you know, it happens. Did I get both wings? I think I got both wings. Yeah, it was doing the second barrel roll, so I can just go straight. No, wait. Yes. No? Oh god. I'm gonna go to the tail. I think I got both wings. I don't remember. We'll see. Anyway, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, why, this is pain, why? Sometimes I give very eloquent explanations of Colossi, and other times I just make noises. This is fine. Anyway, so, because I had a plant there, I didn't realize I was in a plant, but because I was in one, it caused me to kind of auto let go, and there was nothing I could do to recover that. There are ways to knock yourself out of a plant. So if like you're gripping and you wiggle to the side on a Colossus and do like a full move, that automatically knocks you out of plant. You kind of have to immediately grab the Colossus in the right place in order to land a plant. So I usually will do like a small like scooch to the side before I stab Avion's wings. And I think that when I did the scooch there, it just wasn't enough for it to knock me out of plant. So unfortunate, but what can you do? All right, number 3 is gonna be our next Colossus, and in between these fights, I'm gonna distribute these final 3 pets. So if there are any donations now, it's a good time. Yeah, any donations or announcements?
Refresh. I especially wanted to double check if there was a message that came through with that $30 donation. There was no comment, but nonetheless, it's still very appreciated. With all of y'all's help, we're at $2,825 and counting, and there's still so many games to go. I hope you all have so much to be looking forward to. Please make sure when you're getting your donations in that you do let us know any incentives that you'd like to put those towards. Since we are not using Tiltify, it is not automatic. A Twitch chat message is a fantastic way to let us know, and then you get to influence the marathon in so many different ways, like the bonus 0% run for Fez. That's currently what I'm looking forward to. That isn't Shadow of the Colossus, because we're already here. Oh, I can't believe it already.
Oh god, I just did one of the hardest tricks in the game and explained nothing because I just forgot that that was a thing that was gonna happen.
Hit me with it. How'd you do it?
Okay, so that trick that you just saw where I went from the ground to just being in the air and on his head suddenly is called the Gaius launch. So essentially by like doing a series of jumps on the bottom of his sword, essentially to make sure that you don't like trip over your own feet or things like that, you can actually, oh, hang on. Just want to make sure that I get the right cycles here with the head. You can actually use the momentum on the sword to drive Wander all the way to Gaius's head. So it's a really, really cool strat. It's a really fun strat. Ah! No! This is a nightmare. Hang on. Nope, you know what? We're just gonna retry that. I was trying to fall to his belt, and unfortunately I missed that. So we're gonna go again here, and now I can actually properly explain it. So, what I'm gonna do here is land a few arrow shots on his belly, because there's actually a sigil there that you just can't see yet, because the sigils only become visible when I have the sword out. So just do a little extra damage so I don't have to do as many stabs later. Then I'm gonna kind of get in the right positioning at the bottom of this crater, do a series of jumps, and if I do them right, then I'm gonna grab, there we go, directly on that horn. So that is one of the hardest tricks in the game, so getting that 2 times right in a row makes me feel real good about myself. Then I'm gonna try and land a plant here on his head. I missed it last time, and unfortunately you can see Wander kind of being shaken around. That's because I haven't landed in that plant position yet, but it looks like I've got it now. I'm gonna do 3.5 stabs to the head here, just to take out the full damage of this sigil. And once I finish distributing this damage, I'm gonna wait for him to kind of do these shakes and then drop down towards his belly. I might even take the back here this time just to kind of be safe, since last time I fell directly down to the ground. Then the final sigil is, yeah.
Did you say 3.5 stabs? You could half stab? How does that work?
Oh yeah, that's a great question actually, especially for some of the upcoming fights. So did you see that little like yellow circle in the bottom right hand corner?
Yes.
Okay, so that is your stamina meter. So if you watch the like white dotted line as it goes from the center all the way out, that shows how much you've charged a stab. So when it reaches the full outer edges, that means that you've fully charged a stab. But for several of the colossi, if I've mentioned like doing precision stabs or doing a one cycle, so like phalanx, that big flying sand snake, for example, the 1.9 stabs I was mentioning, we're doing number 16 next, by the way. God, this run flies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Some of the Colossus do too.
Yeah!
I'll go now.
Yeah, they do. I feel like we need a put-umts for that. So
you said 1.9?
Yeah, so like some of the colossi you want to do like a half stab or a 1.9 stab. So if I say like a 1 stab or an X full number stab, that means that I'm letting that bar, that kind of dotted line, get all the way to the out. We're just gonna hit retry. I went too early there. That's because I'm letting the dotted line get all the way to the edge when I'm doing the stab. But if I'm letting it go like halfway up the circle but not all the way, or to like most of the way to the edge but not all the way, that's kind of how we calculate those precision stabs, is by how far that white dotted line gets to the outside of the yellow circle. Does that make sense?
My brain is like, you can't half stab something. You can't 1.9 times stab something, but your explanation in terms of game, yes, it makes sense. Thank you. That's speedrun tricks and tactics and all the technicalities and the fun terms. I'm always like, how did you come up with this? But also so fitting, or just so out of left field, depending on the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard some strats for different games get named solely out of like spite or out of an inside joke, but those we very specifically use to kind of let other speedrunners know, if they're learning the game, how long to charge their stabs for. Oh, nope, that's death. Wow, this usually isn't the Colossus I mess up on. That's okay. That means I can actually explain it for a minute, maybe. This is Malice. This is the final Colossus in the game. So, as you can see, he shoots flame or heat-seeking missiles made of fire, which is terrifying. But by running a very specific path, so like letting that first hit kind of hit the pillar, walking in these very specific paths. There we go. Last time I got hit on the way, so I didn't do it quite right. That time I'm hitless, so we're great. So by walking this very specific path, I can get his shots to all essentially miss me. And the reason that works is because all of his shots are technically aiming for your feet so that they can knock you backwards. So not let you advance towards him through the trenches and everything else. So what we do is find different pieces of the landscape and architecture that either allow his AI to think that we're further back than we really are, so his shots go overhead, or so they hit like a wall underneath our feet and completely miss Wander's body. Normally, to play this game casually, you're expected to use a bunch of like bunkers and trenches, and it's a much longer run up, but by running that specific path, we can just run directly up to him, and already I'm climbing the Colossus. This would normally be like a 4 to 6 minute fight for the best intended runners. And when I say intended, I mean fighting the Colossi in the way that the designers meant for you to, by using certain pieces of architecture or certain animations. This next part is another one of those really fun physics abuses. So that weak spot that I hit on his shoulder, I'm technically not supposed to be able to hit until I get to like his left hand, and there are a bunch of weak spots in between that I'm meant to use, but by shooting that arrow early, it allows me to get on his hand early and use the momentum of his arm moving up to just jump directly to his shoulder. Already I'm on the head. I've skipped multiple weak points that you are supposed to use to get here, And from here, all I need to do to make sure that I'm maintaining the plant and I can stay in position is stabbing at like specific intervals. There's kind of a rhythm to it for the head, just so you remain in that plant. If you miss the timing on those stabs, you can get knocked out of it because you're not really holding position while you have the sword balancing you. So that's the last Colossus, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 to go here. Okay, next is number 10. Awesome.
Got it. Quick question, just out of curiosity, as we've seen what you've claimed to be 2 of your favorite Colossi, have we encountered any of your least favorites, or?
Well, I realize that there's actually 5 left. No, so my 2 least favorite are both in this final stretch.
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
So this one that I'm coming up on is just a fun fight, but number 9 and 12 are easily my least favorites, and I'll kind of get into why once we get to those fights. So this one, Dirge. So this Colossus is a sand snake with huge eyes. Hi, honey, I need that pen. Sorry, my cat decided that she wanted to co-host with me by playing with my list.
Just like mine.
Yeah, right? So this is Onyx, everyone, because clearly the cat is the more important thing here versus the speedrun. Hi, honey. So that Colossus, by shooting it in the eye, you essentially get it to spin out and either head towards a wall or a pillar. I wanted to aim for a pillar, but full disclosure, my cat very much distracted me in that moment, so I didn't get the positioning quite. But that's okay, that's a good reason to lose time. And then this is one that's gonna have this is another one that's gonna have one of those precision stabs. So I'm gonna do a full stab, a 0.95 stab, so like almost out to the edge but not quite, and then a half stab. And what? Oh no! Oh no! I overstabbed! Oh no! Okay, so what I was hoping to do was not cause the Colossus to go down so I could take out both sigils at once, but I did overstab that second stab by mistake. Whoops. Onyx, why are you directly in front of my screen? I'm so glad you're enjoying the game, baby, but I can't see. Okay.
I love her.
I love her too, but also why? Why right now of all time? Hi, baby.
She wants me to ask you how much to pet her in terms of donation.
How about this? I will give her... in fact, I will do you one better. If we get $50 in donations before the end of the run, I will feed her a churro on stream, which are like her favorite cat snacks.
Hey, yo, you said 50 for that?
Yeah, $50, and I will feed her a full churro, so you'll get like a minute of Onyx time just eating in front of the camera.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
All right, so that's just a new incentive, y'all, if you want me to feed a churro to the sweet baby. Okay, so the final sigil on this one is up here towards the front. Like I said, I could have done a 1 cycle there, but unfortunately I missed the timing. So I'm just gonna take out this Colossus now that I've hit it that second time. And there we go, boom, goes the dynamite. Dirge is down. We have 4 more fights. We have 8, 9, 12, and 15 left. And Zen, I just rolled a 20, so you get to pick. So 8, 9, 12, or 15.
Let's go with 12.
All right, one of my least favorites.
Oh, great, you're welcome.
Yeah, hey, thanks. So,
I'm here to support.
You know how I said that, like, some of the fights I really don't like because RNG is the thing that kind of takes over?
Yes.
Yeah. This next fight is one of those. So that's why, as someone who loves the precision of most of the rest of this run, I hate it. So this is Pelagia, or Pelalep, as my friends affectionately refer to it.
That's the name. I remember this one now.
Yeah. So with this Colossus, what you're essentially trying to do, I'm going to retry that. What you're essentially trying to do is, usually as a casual player, you would climb up the back, get her, like, hit the different teeth on her head to kind of guide her. It allows you to direct where she's moving, and get her to one of the gazebos. That way you can, oh no, come on. That way you can jump onto the gazebo, get her to kind of shoot towards you and look for where you are. What I'm trying to do instead is a strat where you can get her to dip her head down just enough and use what we like to call Wander's magnet hands. So if Wander, oh no, come on, one more try. If Wander is like close enough to a ledge but not quite there, the game will just say, you're close enough a lot of the time, and just kind of magnet him towards that ledge that you're trying to grab onto. So what I'm trying to do here is magnet onto the face. I really want to get this. I was getting it so consistently the other day. I know I can. Let me see.
Let's get some good vibes in chat, please.
Yes, please. That would be great. There it is. Okay, thank you for the good vibes, chat. Okay, so that's the strat that I wanted to hit. Now I'm already on his head, on the teeth, which is a lot faster than climbing up the back and swimming all the way around the Colossus. And then I'm going to use the teeth to just guide him straight to this first one. And usually you have to do 2 cycles, so you'll only get a few hits in, and then he'll kind of dive down and you have to reset everything. But I'm going to do a really specific set of precision stabs. This is one of the most precise sets of stabs in the game. So I'm going to kind of focus here for a minute. So I'm going to go full stab. I'm going to do a 0.9 stab. Oh, that was a full stab, I think. I overstabbed. No. All right, one more try. Good vibes, chat. Please, good vibes. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh, no. I'm just overstabbing everything.
You're just giving us time to donate $50 for treats. You don't have to hide it. It's okay.
What? I would not do such a thing, Zen. And I can't. How dare you accuse me of giving more time for people to donate to Corathon for sweet treats from a baby?
I mean, all I'm saying is at this point, I'm very dedicated to matching the love. If we get that 50, my cat's getting some extra treats tonight, too, because she is a baby and a princess and deserves all of the love.
Yes! Ooh, I got to do the fancy jump that time, too.
Just like Cora, I'm realizing, deserves all of the love, which is why we're here. So $50 goes a long way.
For Cora and for many, many cats who will love you forever. Until they forget. Because we know cats have a horrible attention span.
They only care when they want to, but I understand.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. So, 1 stab. I need a 0.9 stab here. Okay, and then 2 more full stabs. Okay, I've got the right animations here. There it is. Okay. That's what a good version of that fight looks like when I don't reset a million times. So sometimes I can get that fight first try and it's fine. Other times this monstrosity happens where it's a million resets and pain and suffering. The reason I say that that's one of my least favorites is also when you stand on the gazebo, if you noticed, I was jumping directly on her face as she was charging up a fireball in order to cancel that animation specifically. Usually you're supposed to like hide behind the center of the gazebo so she can't see you and then she'll hop up. But by grabbing onto the face, you can cancel that animation and get her to just immediately start raising. Okay, we are headed towards number 8 next. And that's all RNG. This fight, on the other hand, terrified me as a casual player, but it is the easiest fight to speedrun. So this is Kuramori. Basically, he can shoot lasers and missiles that cause there to essentially be a gaseous cloud effect that does electric damage to you if you stand in it for too long. But what I'm going to do is once his leg lines up with a specific placement, just shoot both of his legs out from underneath him. I'm going to try and grab directly onto the belly here, but didn't quite get that positioning. That's okay. And then by doing what we call cycle stab, so it's essentially quickly letting go and re-grabbing the Colossus, I can very quickly pop out of the animation of pulling out the sword and instead just go straight to the next stab. And I'm doing 2.5 stabs to each of these sigils. So before he has the chance to flip over, Kura's down. There we go. That fight always feels really smooth. It's a really good kind of recalibration. All right. And all right, that is an 18. So Zen, I'm gonna let you pick between 9 and 15 and decide the order at the very end of this run.
All right, we're gonna go with number 9. Please tell me it's not a bad one.
No, that's my least favorite of all of them. You picked the worst.
I'm so good at this.
Well, and the one thing I will say, though, that's actually really cool about having these 2 fights in particular back-to-back is they're actually, if you remember me talking about those launches of sometimes like a side jump will cause Wander to just fling in really weird directions, both of these next fights use that and fling Wander completely different ways. So this is the hardest strat for me in the game, so we'll see. I just realized I never set my settings back to performance mode. I'm gonna do that. So, what I'm gonna do is try and run towards this front leg. Usually you use geysers across the arena and let the... That's what I call an aerial tour. I jumped a little too high. What you're essentially trying to do is, if you're playing this game casually, you try and lure Bassaron over a geyser to get him to kind of flop over on his belly. What I'm gonna do instead is by landing on his leg here and doing a side jump, I can fling myself directly to his head and already, without several minutes of action, I'm on the back. I'm really glad I got that second try, and first try was just because if you miss the timing a little bit, either it will cause Wander to not fling at all, or it will cause him to fling so hard that he just flies directly over the Colossus. Hence why I've started calling it the aerial tour, because you just get the full aerial shot like you're in a movie. From here, the first few stabs, Bassaron kind of flings his head backwards and forwards. Now he's going to start flinging it side to side, and it's very hard to maintain a plant on this Colossus, but I'm going to try. Sometimes you can maintain it, sometimes you can't. It's really just up to the whims of fate at a certain point, whether he's going to shake you out with his animations or not. But with this last stab, Bassaron's down. There we go.
Alrighty, then I'm going to chime in here real quick with a quick double update. For one, we got a $50 donation, very specifically to feed the cats. Thank you so much, Schmootown, for that. Very appreciated. And immediately following that, we got a $25 donation from our great friend Anonymous, always around. And that donation officially brought us to $2,900 raised.
Yes, that's incredible, gang. Thank you so much for the $50 from Shmoo. Hey, you're sweet and I love you. That's my partner. And for the $25 anonymous donation, that's incredible that we've raised so much to help get Cora out of Texas. All right, we are headed towards the final Colossus of this run. So I will call time at the end of this fight. So this one is another one that uses that weird physics abuse and also uses a weird positioning thing. So normally you're supposed to use a bunch of architecture that's behind me and climb a million different things, get him to break a bunch of stuff. We're not going to do any of that. So normally you're climbing those things specifically to try and get access to this boy's sweet hand right here. If you saw it kind of started glowing, but he's holding a hammer. So you're not supposed to be able to grab onto there yet. And instead are meant to hit like a weak spot on one of his arms to get him to drop it. Then you can hit the sigil in his hand. What I'm trying to do is if you basically are next to the hand, but going past it and you're not quite on it, you can hit the grab button and use the magnet hands that I mentioned earlier to allow Wander to stay close enough and latch into that place that you're not technically supposed to be able to grab onto. So it's a very precise grab. Then by getting him to stomp, I'm going to land on this leg, do another one of those like precisely timed side jumps, and I'm just gonna let the trick itself do the rest of the jump. And it launches Wander directly upwards. So it feels like a magic trick every time I do it. It's really fun. And I think we've only got one more stab here. And time. That's it. That's all 16. We did it, gang. I will say, for how rusty I am, this was the game I first started speedrunning at the very beginning of pandemic. And I love this game. It's my favorite of all time. Check it out if you haven't played it. It's absolutely gorgeous, lore-wise and fight-wise. But I'm really glad to be coming back to it, and considering how rusty I am, I don't think that was too shabby. I'll take it. And thank you so much, Corathon, for having me. Thank you, Zen, for hosting. You're the best.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm not going to deny, my message may have included the quote, "I will fight anyone" to host for Ruby, and that's okay. I'm afraid to admit it. Or not afraid to admit it, excuse me. I'm really happy I got to be part of it, especially for this run and the D20 and the cat treats that we've earned. It's a great time.
Yes! Hang on, wait, let me go get her churro so we can feed that on stream. Give me 1 sec. Hang on.
Alrighty, and with that 1 second, thank you all so much for raising $2,900 and counting thus far. We've had great games, and an important note here, we are now on the front page of SRC, so we are getting even more people coming in here. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, SRC, for having us on the front page during Shadow of the Colossus. You love to see it.
Oh my god, that's so cool! Here, come up here, baby. All right, do you want tuna or chicken? You gotta cuddle which one you want. Which one? Yeah, tuna. Okay, sweet. Well, thank you, SRC. Again, for any of you watching, please donate to Corathon. I can't believe we're already at $2,900 and we've got another day of runs ahead. Onyx wants you to donate more to Corathon, so just keep that in mind. Honey, do you wanna come right here to eat the sweet churro? Come here. Good girl. Otherwise, so Onyx and I can both be found at twitch.tv/RUBIEHART. That is RUBIEHART. Like I mentioned, I am an actor, a streamer, a speedrunner, and I also am, as of a week ago I was able to announce this, I have just joined the Summer Games Done Quick interview team. So I'm really, really excited to have joined this team of speedrunning legends. I speedrun anything from Shadow and the other games in the Trifecta, so Eco and Last Guardian, Solar Ash. I'm learning the Pathless. I just learned Titan Souls. Overcooked Phasmo, like a bunch of stuff, so feel free to drop on by. And this baby regularly comes to either grace my stream with her presence, or rub her face against the microphone for ASMR, or sabotage my stream. You know, one of the many things.
All our blessings to the viewers.
Did you give your sweet kitty some treats yet?
I'm going to directly after I get off the mic, which will be right after this, because I want to make sure I'm here both to watch this on stream and because I don't want to leave my post quite yet. She's half passed out on the desk. We're good.
Oh, the sweet baby.
I will put cat tax in Discord and on Twitter. You have my promise.
Oh my god, you're the best. Please do. Oh god, and I have to shout you out specifically as a host. When I was first learning how to host, I had never hosted before, and then I did, well, I technically had hosted once before, but then for Awesome Games Done Quick, Zen was the one who was behind the scenes teaching me a ton of stuff of how to host and let me shadow, so like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for teaching me how to do that.
Okay, so that's the second time this stream that people have like pointed at me, and now I'm like all flustered about it. Thank you very much for that. I mean, let's give you even more credit for that. I absolutely got to host Buddy with Ruby last GDQ event, which was fantastic. And within like what, one game's worth of time, you were kind of taking over half the responsibilities. So you're a natural, and that's exactly why you're going to be hosting this upcoming event as well. Great runner, great human, great host, a great cap parent. So we're thriving.
Yeah, all right, that is the sweet truth. Thank you for the $50 donations, and keep the donations rolling in for more of the amazing runs that are upcoming and for Corathon. Yes, honey, you ate it all. You can't. All right, that's it from us.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you so much for being here for the 3 fantastic runs I've had a chance to host. Be sure to give all of those runners some love. Give all of the volunteers the love they deserve for making a fantastic marathon like this come together in such short notice. Make sure to give your pets some love as well, as several of us clearly plan to. Well deserved. I really appreciate you all being here with me. SRC, thank you for having us on the front page. That's always so exciting to see. I'm glad that somehow I am here as it's happening. That was my 3-game block today. I did say it earlier, but of course I'm always happy to reiterate. My heart definitely feels lighter in the moments that I get to participate in marathons like this. I'm surrounded by fantastic, generous, and driven human beings that are always there pushing each other just to be better and feel the love that can always surround you. And again, the fact that I was invited to take part in this, it was not, hey, we're opening and anybody who's interested. It was, I got reached out to directly to be here, and that has made my last few weeks very special. It genuinely means so much to be here, raising money for Cora. So thank you all for that. I am going to be leaving you in the very capable hands, and that is intended to be a several level pun, because our next host coming up for a block here will be the Joker. After a few moments here, they'll be taking over. Thank you all for having me. Let's get some more love for the rest of Corathon.